All right, guys, we're back. Welcome back to part two with me and WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long. So, WrestleMania coming up this weekend, this Saturday and Sunday. So, what do you think about it going to two nights? Because we're still kind of in the early days, I guess, of that coming out of
Well,
COVID and whatnot.
they've already started that. The last year was 2 nights, so that's yeah. They've already started it. I can't really say. I don't know what kind of reception that they're getting off of the 2 nights. You know what I mean? I don't know about if the arena's sold out for 2 nights. You know what I mean? So it's just hard for me to speak on it. But if 2 nights will get it for them, then whatever they do, whatever works for them, then that's what you go with.
Okay. So what do you think about them going over to Saudi Arabia next year for WrestleMania? Because if I'm not mistaken, this would be the first WrestleMania that's out of the country, correct?
Money, okay? Just that
Yeah,
simple. Saudi Arabia got oil.
that is very true. That
Okay. And they
so
can pay not millions, they can pay billions.
yeah. If so would you, with everything going on in the world, would you, if they said, well, let's go over there for an event, would you go?
No, I wouldn't go because I don't really want to go overseas.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now, I think it's not good. You know what I mean? For anybody going overseas.
Okay.
But I mean, I can the guys will go. I mean, that's their job. They gotta go to make money.
Shit. Okay. So do you think possibly part of like the ticket sales not selling as well? Do you think it could possibly be because they decided to go to Vegas back to back years? Because I remember at first they said, they sent Rock out and he said it's going to New Orleans. And then they did it and they said, oops, we're going back to Vegas. So do you
Well,
think possibly that could have been had an effect?
I would think so. I don't think you would draw in New Orleans like you would in Las Vegas. You see, you already got a fan base there anyway. Not only people coming from all over the world to see WrestleMania, but Vegas is what? That's Hollywood. So you're already, in a good spot. People are already there for vacationing or whatever they're doing. So they look up and say, oh, WrestleMania's here. God, I'll go see that. So I think they made a good choice there.
Okay. Yes, sir. So night one, we got Division and ISO Speed versus the Usos and LA Knight. I feel like that match is whatever, but my thing is LA Knight. I personally like LA Knight, and I would
I do
love to
too.
see, I would really love to see him like they give him a push, put the belt on him, and see what he can do because he clearly has all the mic skills. Like you said, he don't need a manager. He got the mic skills and he's got the look. So,
Yeah.
what do you?
I can't speak on that because I'm not in charge of creative. I couldn't tell you why they don't use him. You know what I
Okay,
mean? I really don't. But I look at him just like you look at him. He's got mic skills. Not a bad worker. He's a good worker in the ring. So, I just, I can't tell you.
okay. So, another match is they got Drew McIntyre in an unsanctioned match. So, could you talk to me about Drew because you were general manager when he first came in? You know, you had a little rivalry, with him going on for a minute. Could you talk to me about that and him having to go away and sometimes how you got to go away to come back? I guess.
Well, I don't really know what that was why he went away. He might have had some personal problems or some family problem why he went away. Guys just don't go away to come back unless there's another territory you go to or you go somewhere else to work and then you come back. Drew was a great guy. I love him to death. I had a chance, like you said, I had a little rivalry with him when he was Vince's guy, the chosen one. So we did that, and that was really good stuff. And I told him when we were getting ready to do the promo, I said, something has got to stop me. I said, so what I want you to do, I don't care what are you saying, I ain't going for nothing. I said, but hit me with what are your grandkids gonna think about you, Teddy Long, when they look back and see this? What a man, a worthless, spineless man you are. And that stopped me. He's
Mm,
talking to me about my grandkids.
uh,
Now I'm thinking, I don't want my grandkids to see me a failure. I don't want my grandkids to see me like that. That's real. So that's when I stopped. Now you
mm.
got me. All right. Whatever you want me to do, Drew.
All
Just that
right.
simple.
Yes, sir. So another match is Seth Rollins versus Gunther. What do you have any thoughts on on Seth or Gunther? Are you
Well, I
impressed?
like both of these. I like both of these guys. Seth is certainly, great, man. Golly, what he has it's been proved tremendously, brother. You can't tell him nothing. He's got it.
Yeah,
Gunther, I really love him. I think that they should be doing a little more with him, by himself. You know what I mean? Because Gunther has that look too. And plus, you got this problem overseas now and all this stuff going on. So it's perfect. You know what I mean? Because he's not from America. The reason the Iron Sheik, God rest his soul, and Sergeant Slaughter made so much money is because Vince was a genius. He knew about the war in Iran and everything, Iraq or whatever they was having the war then. Sheik comes straight out of Iran. Here's your bad guy. Sergeant Slaughter, here's the baby face, the big American hero. Everybody wants to save America, and Sergeant Slaughter and Iron Sheik were perfect for that because of the war and all that stuff they were having. And Sheik was so good with the promos and everything. That's what really made it good. So everybody wanted to see America beat up on Iran.
like you said, making it real and making them feel it.
Well, that's what's
Yeah,
happening now. That what was going on. Then you had a war there.
yeah, yes, sir. So, could you possibly see somebody interfering, like maybe Braun Breaker, since he was feuding with Seth?
Well, I don't know. I don't call the finishes. I'm not part of creative, so I don't know. But that's
Okay,
not a bad idea.
okay. Yeah,
It
because
would save Gunther.
yeah, because something else is the main event of night one. I feel like they left so much meat on the bone with this. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton for the for the undisputed title with Pat McAfee. I personally don't even see why Pat McAfee is involved in this because they didn't need none of this. This is over 20 years in the making. You
TV,
know,
man. ESPN. TV.
man, I think that's a dumbass decision either way because they're both multi-generational stars. It's almost like Randy ain't even other than what maybe out of 2 weeks of this is like Pat McAfee's the main. They're trying to make him the main attraction outside of Randy, and I'm pretty sure I have a feeling Randy's going to go over and get the belt, which he should. But
Yeah.
still, but why are you win the main event and you're secondary, but you still finna win? That on
Well, they're just using ESPN for that TV time, and plus, like I think if you want to see WrestleMania, I think ESPN will be airing it or something like that too. So that's what that is. That's all about the TV time.
okay. And so Cody Rhodes, you knew Cody when he was a little kid, right? You were cool with Dusty.
Yeah,
Right. Could you?
Dusty gave me my first job.
Oh, okay. Could you talk a little bit about Dusty and seeing Cody as a kid?
I was at a baseball field when I was living in Marietta, Georgia, and there was a little baseball field that was like a block from my house called Milford Park. So I went
Hmm.
down there one day and to the park. I would always was it me and my son or somebody. Me, I think I had my dogs. I would always take them down there. One day they was playing a softball game and it was Dusty. He was down there. He was the coach, and Cody was on the team, and that's where I met Cody at. He was playing little league football.
Oh, okay. Okay, okay. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. All right. So, but also speaking of Cody, he was on a ESPN first take, but like you just said, they use it for the TV time, and they said he had his top five WrestleMania wrestlers. So I'm gonna read the names off, and you just tell me if you agree or not. Now, note this isn't all time, just wrestle based off WrestleMania. He said number five, he has Charlotte Flair.
Hey, what now?
Charlotte Flair.
Okay.
Uh,
Um, I never really watched her. You know what I mean? So I don't really know anything about her. I mean, I've heard her name called and stuff, but I never really watched her. I don't really even know her.
okay. He had Macho Man Randy Savage at four.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and then he had Shawn Michaels at three,
Oh yeah.
and then he had Roman Reigns at two.
Uh, I agree with that, but Ali, it's not kind of hard for Roman not to be number one. But go ahead.
He had Hulk Hogan number one, and he said
Well,
he said his reason was WrestleMania was basically built off the back of Hulk Hogan and
it,
Roman wouldn't be
well, he's right. He's right. Hulk Hogan started WrestleMania. Him and Andre the Giant. They sold out the in Detroit there. What's that field?
uh Detroit
Not Ford. We had a
Gillette.
the
It's
first
one
that
in the it's
WrestleMania Hogan and Andre was on, and it was in Detroit, Michigan, Pontiac, Michigan, somewhere they had it. I don't
yeah,
remember. But
yeah.
anyway, that was the go or blow. They made it that night, or WrestleMania would have been done. That's what Vince put it on, and when they had it, it did tremendous. I mean, they didn't even believe it.
Okay. And so last few things before we wrap up and get out of here. So night two, one of the big matches is Brock versus Obafemi. I feel like this is one of the main attractions because we all know who Brock Lesnar is. You know, the certified badass basically came in, went to the UFC, came back, and now this new guy, Obafemi, coming up from NXT. And like you said, it's almost like the perfect, you got this big country corn-fed white boy, farm boy, Brock Lesnar versus the night, basically like a Nigerian nightmare, new guy, Obafemi. And Brock is like, Brock has very much been losing every encounter. So, and Brock is projected to possibly retire at SummerSlam in Minneapolis this year because that's where he's from. So, if he's getting ready to retire, do you think Oba should beat him? If that's the case,
Well, I don't know whether it should be Opie or not. You know what I mean? He's only, been in the business for just so long. But like I said, that's what need to be done. Things like that. The people that are running it now, the people that on the old school rules, you got to put in some time. You know what I mean? You ain't paid no dues and all that stuff. That should be thrown out the window. So what I'm saying is, I just don't see Opie beating Brock. I don't see it, but anything can happen. But that's the way I feel about it. I think maybe he's lose Brock. Anytime you lose right now, that means you're setting yourself up for the big win.
okay. Because I thought, because I agree. I think Brock's gonna win, but I feel like Gunther is gonna fight Brock in Minneapolis and try and retire him. That's what I think is gonna happen because that's
Well,
basically the
if
career killer.
if you want to do it right, then I'd have Brock go over in WrestleMania, and then when he goes to SummerSlam, I'd have Opie challenge him again. Now you leave it with Opie. If they're gonna use him, if that's what they're finna do with Opie, if they finna give him the ball, let him run, then that's the way I would go with it. If they're not finna do anything with him, then like you say, I'd go with Gunther.
Okay, possible other idea I thought of. Brock goes over on so Oba could go over at Mania, and then Gunther fights Brock at SummerSlam, and then Brock retires or whatever, and you have Oba versus Gunther moving forward.
Well, that could happen. That's not bad.
Not bad. Okay, okay. See,
Yeah.
see, I be listening. We trying
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Okay. Second to last thing, Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. Have you? I feel like Jade Cargill, they pissed away her title run because she's probably defended it twice, and she has it written all over her. That is a true superstar,
Well, they know that.
and they
so that's all I can tell you.
for sure that you said a whole lot right there with that. You said a whole lot, and and then the final for night two and overall is CM Punk versus Roman Reigns.
I really want to see that. I like that. You got two guys. Punk is a hell of a worker too. So you got two guys that are gonna work their ass off. So you're gonna see a good one there. That one there will be too close to call.
Too close to okay. So who would you, even though it's too close to call, who would you like to see go over?
Punk,
Punk? Okay. Why?
because that fits him. Because
Mm,
he'll go over and he'll come out of there and cut one of the best promos you've ever heard in your entire life of how he won this, how he beat this guy. You know what I mean? So that Punk is entertaining with it. Nothing wrong with Roman. Don't get me wrong, but like I said, you can do so much there. You could have Punk go over. Now you got SummerSlam coming up, and you got other. You know what I mean? There's so much you can. There's a good little run you could get out of those two.
okay. Yes,
Let
sir.
Roman chase him for a while.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. So final question, then I'm gonna let you go, okay?
Okay.
So give me your top five greatest WWE wrestlers ever that you like and that you rock with, based off you and your criteria.
You got Rock, you got Hogan. Golly, man. Brock, very, very good.
Oh wow, you put Brock on there. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting that one.
Well, if a guy's good, he's good. You got to give him, his credit where it's due. So yeah, Brock would be in there, and Roman would be there, and Punk.
Roman and Punk. Okay. Not gonna lie, that's a pretty damn good list, sir.
Yeah.
I like that. All right, well, there you guys have it. Me and Mr. One and Only WWE Hall of Famer, Teddy
Yeah, I'll
Long.
see
Now,
everybody. I'll see everybody at WrestleMania. I'll be there at the hotel for the signing there, WrestleCon. So I'll be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So looking forward to meeting all the fans out there and having a great time.
okay, yes, sir. And before we get out, can we get a holla, holla, holla?
Oh, you know you can get a holla holla player. And if y'all don't subscribe to this podcast, then I might have you go one on one with the Undertaker.
Yes, sir. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Teddy. I appreciate you coming on. As always, I enjoyed you, sir.
All right, no problem, man. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.